Hello, everybody. This is an emergency. If you live in Northport, if you are in Northport, if you are in Venice, you're about to get hit with the strongest winds almost on this planet, other than a tornado. Venice, South Venice, Northport, Port Charlotte, you're already getting it. Rotunda, Englewood, Minnesota Key, Pineland is done. If you're in this area of near Sarasota, you're gonna have to prepare for Cat 3 winds, almost Cat 4 gust. This is not good. This is nasty. This is if you're on that northwestern Iowa, which looks like it's getting into the Gulf Gate Estate, and it is gonna die a little bit as it hits that land. It looks like it's gonna make landfall about Rotunda, Minnesota Key. Looks like it's about to make landfall near Rotunda. It might even make landfall here by Cape Coral. Regardless, the northwest side, Rotunda, Punta Garda, Burnt Store Marina, Bocalia, Pineland, South Seas Island Resort, St. James City right now are getting slammed. Definitely no internet service right now, no cell phone service. They're getting at least 120, 130 mile an hour wind, most likely. And on the northwest side here, that looks like it's going to hit Minnesota Key, Englewood, Northport, Port Charlotte. Jeez. Oh, Lord. That is a lot of wind. Whoever lives in Northport, Florida, I don't know if they're going to have a home. If they're on that northwest side, Interstate 5 is going to sustain a little bit of damage, possibly with over almost 180 to 170, 180, 190 mile an hour wind, maybe even 200 in some spots on the northwestern side of that eye wall. This is bad, 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 bad. Right now, there are high winds happening, about to hit Northport. It does look like it's going to hit Punta Gorda and Arcadia. I've been to Arcadia. That's so weird to see that about to hit Arcadia. Yeah, no, this is still bad. Even if it's a Cat 3 or Cat 2, the damage is going to be insanity near Northport, Port Charlotte, and of course, anywhere in here, Rotunda, Charlotte Park, Cleveland, Florida, Deep Creek, Port Charlotte, Northport, Englewood, Grove City is about to. Oh, Inglewood's about to get it. Once they get into that orange and red, that's it. It's done. Venice, they already getting those outer wind bands, close to hurricane, probably more than hurricane. Let's just see here how far from about right here. 30, 40, 40. Okay, about 40 miles. Hurricane force winds about 45 miles out. So yeah, they're already experienced away from the eye wall. So yeah, they're already experiencing hurricane force winds about already. So yeah, Arcadia, Northport, Port Charlotte, Venice, especially in those bands, they're definitely getting high winds right now. That's terrible, and it's a little bit more than half a cane now. It was more of a half a cane, and now it's kind of like a half a cane on the eastern end. So if you're like way on the eastern end, other than the tornadoes, you should be okay. But on the western end, if of this is going to be really bad. Yeah, so not good, not good at all. That's just not going to end well for wherever this lands. This hurricane looks like it's going to hit Northport hard. It's going to hit Laurel. I don't know if it's going to head north or if it's going to head northeast into Arcadia. Punta Gorda. I've been to all these places. That's crazy to see this. Naples, Marco Island got lucky. I mean, probably a lot of flooding and high wind, but they didn't get the eye wall. This is bad. Whoever lives in the Gulf Gate Estate, Sarasota, all the way up to kind of in Tampa, they're going to get at least a lot of rain and flooding and high wind. But anybody in this area here is really going to get it, though. Lakeland, North Point, Port. Anybody that lives right here, though, especially, I don't know if they're gonna possibly have a home. Venice, Florida is really gonna get it. That's funny because that's where we got our tire change. I've never expected a massive hurricane like this to hit this. This is gonna just suck. So it looks like Tampa is gonna dodge that bullet, but not Sarasota. Well, I don't know where it's headed right now. It looks like it might just miss Sarasota with the highest winds. But if it takes a northern track, it looks like it's taking a northeastern track. So Arcadia is done. That small town, Wauchula, Placid Lakes. The flooding is the one that's going to be a problem. Cape Coral is also getting it right now, the northeastern eye wall. So yeah, they're not doing too well with the Cape Coral right now. That's not good. And then Northport, specifically Northport, Port Charlotte, these areas here are just going to get creamed with that 155-mile-an-hour plus winds, plus the gusts. Anybody living in this area, if they didn't evacuate, they're going to have a very bad evening. And then they have to deal with this other side of the hurricane too. So that's when it's going to push that water. Right now, it's not really pushing the water too much. But then once the eye wall gets on land, this is going to push water and high wind into this area after the eye wall passes. Right now, there's an area called Captiva. I don't know if there's any humans on that island right now, but right now they're seeing a calm. That must be insane for them. But if anybody is literally living at that island resort, they've just been hit by the eye wall. So I mean, the damage must have been insane. But if they're on that other side of the eye wall, which like Rotunda is going to get, this is so scary and dangerous. I've never seen anything like this before. Venice. I think it's gonna be like this more likely. So somewhere in between Sarasota and Venice. I mean, they're not that far from those extremely strong hurricane winds. I don't know if this radar is gonna stay up. It looks like the strongest winds right now are hitting Cape Coral on the eastern end. So they're getting at minimum. At minimum, it looks like dark blue. So about 150-mile-an-hour winds are possible right now, at least on this side, and then even stronger on this side. See, the radar can't even comprehend what it's seeing. It can comprehend it. It's showing like a darkish brown, so 100 and like brown. So about 150 to 160 mile an hour wind possibly. But now it's making that northeast turn to Captivia, Cape Coral. Anybody living in this area right now is about to have a very bad day. But it's the band that you need to look at. So you look at the band. See how there's like the Bokelia? Looks like it's just made landfall, I think. Let me see. Okay. So Bokila, I don't think that's mainland. I don't know. It's about to make land. I guess Cape Coral. Technically, it looks like it's headed towards Cape Coral. Fort Myers is done. Fort Myers is done. If they get that other side of the eye wall, it looks like they're not going to get the northwestern side of the eye wall, so that might actually be a good thing. But Port Charlotte and Northport is going to get the eye wall, the northwest eye wall, so they are going to be fudged. Anybody in this area north of Bokelia, Rotunda, Groove City, Charlotte Park, of course, Port Charlotte and Northport are going to be slammed really badly. Hopefully, the barriers hold up. I don't know. And if you look here, you're seeing that it's moving northeast. Right now, it's making technically landfall on the islands, the little islands there by Cape Coral, but it is heading towards Cape Coral. So Cape Coral, Cypress Lake, San Carlos Park, Shadowwood, and Bonita Springs are Naples even is getting it a little bit. I'm concerned about that because they're getting that southeast eye wall, which is very concerning for Naples. They're gonna get a lot of wind for sure. And now the eye wall, of course, the northwest side is the strongest, but now it's starting to almost make land. Looks like it's gonna make land at Cape Coral and Rotunda. Right now, Rotunda is almost in that northern eye wall right now, so they're about to experience within the next probably hour. They're going to start seeing over 150-mile-an-hour wind, 140, 130, 140-mile-an-hour wind, and then probably gusts to 170. Northport, Venice, they're still going to get excessive amounts of wind. Sarasota is probably going to see winds of 120 in gusts, maybe 130 in gusts or more. Tampa's probably going to get 70 to 80-mile-an-hour winds, or even maybe over 100. This is not that far away. It's going to dissipate pretty quickly as soon as it hits this land. That's why you see the eastern end is starting to break badly, but the western end looks healthy. But this is concerning because of the way it's moving kind of slow. So this is extremely concerning. And the wind is just... Looks like they're already getting some strong winds over there by Sarasota. The winds are so powerful in this hurricane. Once you see that gray, orange, and then dark blue, see the dark blue almost into purple. Like you can't even read it right, even though the radar's kind of far. It can't even read it right. That's the crazy part. See, look at this. It's almost making landfall. Look, there's even purple there. KAMX, that KTDW. I hope that radar doesn't go out because if it does, we're not gonna be able to see any more updates. Satellite, yeah, but okay. Let's see what this looks like from a different perspective. Yeah, this isn't good. Where those in flames are, you see the inflamage? That's where the highest winds are going to be. So that northeast quadrant, um, the northwest quadrant, as you can see, anywhere from northeast to northwest is going to be really high wind from the southeast, and then from the northeast, and then it's going to switch to the southwest wind. So they're going to get really high winds like right now. They're getting high winds right now. Cape Coral is extremely high winds. Now, not as high as Rotunda's going to get. They're still getting damaging winds right now. But once that other side of the eye wall, it looks more intense, gets to Cape Coral, so they're going to get a strong northwesterly wind in Port Charlotte, northeasterly wind at first, southeasterly wind at first, and then it's going to move east, and then it's going to turn northeast, and then it's going to get really powerful from the northeast. And then it's going to switch to the west, and then southwest, and then southeast, and then south. It's going to get bad, and then all that water is going to get pushed quickly. So I hope people are prepared. Rotunda, Port Charlotte, Cape Coral, and then Fort Myers. Let me see. Fort Myers is getting it right now. They're not getting too bad with the rain. I call it a half-a-cane. Thank God the other side of the hurricane is dying. But the eye wall, anywhere near that eye wall is where those high winds are going to be. So right now, it's about to make landfall right now as I'm speaking. It looks like it's going to make landfall Cape Coral, officially. Bokila or Cape Coral. Technically Captivia, but that's not, I don't know if that's connected to the mainland. I can't see. But it's pretty much made landfall by Cape Coral. This sucks, bro. Luckily, Sarasota's not in the direct path of this. But anywhere Cape Coral, Florida, the island that has got to have been destroyed by now. The massive extreme damage by Captivia, Florida. Cape Coral is going to get it, but Rotunda right now is now in those inner bands of the hurricane. So Rotunda, Florida, Bokila, Florida, is there any other? Minnesota Key, Inglewood, they're getting the high winds now, more than 100. And nothing can be done about this. Northport is going to get it really bad as the way the hurricane is moving. Northport, Cape Coral is done. Arcadia is done. They're all done. It's done. That's what it comes down to. Done. This area north of Cape Coral, they're already experiencing over 130-mile-an-hour winds probably. Um, it looks like dark blue, so let's see what the radar for dark blue is. So possibly 160-mile-an-hour wind gusts. I don't think that's sustained. Let's see how the land is eating up the hurricane pretty quickly. But as you can still see on the northwestern end, where Northport, Vermont, and possibly Rotunda, Inglewood, these areas here, right here, are just going to get it so bad. Um, hmm. And also the other side of the hurricane, which Cape Coral is going to see some sort of like opening and then calmness, and then they're going to start getting winds out of the west and southwest, I think. And then it's just going to cause more damage. And then the inland flooding is going to happen with the other side of the hurricane. It's already bad, but it's just going to keep pushing that water in right now. This sucks for Englewood and Northport, Arcadia, Florida, Avon Park, Wauchula, Bowling Green, Fort Meade, Florida. It's gonna suck, man. Even though the eastern half of the eye wall is being destroyed, um, the it's still windy as hell. So St. James City is about to see some sunlight. Not sunlight, but maybe really lightly clear skies. So, but the winds have just probably destroyed that area. But luckily, it wasn't the northwest side. I know it's still bad, but it could have been much worse. But right now, Minnesota Key, Port Charlotte, Inglewood, Northport is experiencing dramatic winds, especially Rotunda and Minnesota Key right now. They are experiencing some dramatic winds. Now, it's going to start, this eye wall is going to start to deteriorate pretty quickly. Very, very quickly right now. That eye wall is going to deteriorate pretty quickly. Strength-wise, but the gusts are still going to be over 150 miles an hour for at least the next couple hours, 3 hours. That's still going to be extremely damaging winds, flooding, and onshore flow. That is just bad, man. Northport, done. Arcadia, Florida is going to be done. Massive amounts of flooding and damage. Babcock Ranch, Olga Alva, Lehigh Acres, North Fort Myers, all these areas, all the way down to Naples, is getting high winds. This is not good. If you're on that northern end, though, you're done. Southern end is really bad too. Shoot. Thank you guys for watching.